간지 키다다.
You got to be careful about who you believe. Inquiry's journal. But no, it's true. It's true. It says it here on the recent internet that between the 5th and 3rd centuries BCE, Greek physician Hippocrates denied the long-held belief that mental illness was caused by supernatural forces and instead proposed it stemmed from natural occurrences in the human body, pathology in the brain. That's Hippocrates. Hippocrates. They've said the 3rd and they haven't said his actual... Let's look on the old internet. Have we got Hippocrates on the old internet? Ancient Greece and Rome, look. Plato's Republic, Socrates, Sophocles, Aristotle, they're all the names. They're all the big names. Hippocrates, am I going to have to look him up? I've got the internet. That's Bedlam Asylum. Hippopotamus. I wanted to go for hippopotamus. Him. There's his picture. That's what he looks like. That's the internet these days, isn't it? Hippocratic Oath. It probably is. It might be. It might be the Hippocratic Oath. I'm not going to confirm it. Yes, I'm going to say yes because look, there's a medicine symbol and there's a picture there. Hippocratic Oath. So we're confirmed by the internet. Hippocratic Oath. Although I didn't know it. Just believing the internet now, just because of the pictures, and it's fairly. I mean, what's nice about it, the modern internet, is that you can see his face. The old internet, as was there. Look, it's all just writing. No one's faces. You don't get anyone's face. In the new internet, the Google, in years to come, when the artificial intelligence processes this, it will say, what do they mean, the Google? Oh, that was the old internet. The modern internet is still to come, of course. But that's him. I mean, I'm assuming they got it right, didn't they, when they made his statue? Because you'd hope. There was that Ronaldo statue, wasn't there? That Ronaldo statue. I mean, this is an example of how it can go wrong, isn't it? We had a friend suggest this in chat the other quite a little while ago, but that's Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if you recognise him. You certainly don't from his statue. So it can go wrong. But we're to assume that he was pleased with this. And that's what he looked like. It's a bit weird, isn't it? I know I'm just going to alight on this. I'm supposed to be doing Mental Health Monday, but this has really caught my attention. It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's not just because of the internet that we can see that. It's partly because of the internet, but also I saw him. If I stop the sentence there and just take a sip, I saw him. I went to Rome. I don't know if it still counts. I don't know if I went to Rome. I went into this. You're supposed to, if you're one of these people that you're like, oh, we went to the thingy and the Trevi Fountain, and I went in the old Vatican, or these places. I don't remember the names of any of the places. I went round a few of them. There were quite a lot of them. They were quite similar, but at the same time, I was in Rome to see friends, and I went to a vegan fair, and I chatted with some animal activists, and I'd spent time in the homes of people who live in Rome, having dinner with them, and they weren't that interested in like the Trevi Fountain. I mean, they were interested in it, I like it, but don't get me, I didn't get them started on it. We were talking about other things. We were talking about animal rights, to be fair. Nice bit of cake. I've got that there, just for emergencies. That seemed like the right time. So in Rome, I was talking to these people. They were cooking some dinners. We were having some fun. And a couple of the days, I said, can we go and have a look around the Trevi Fountain? Because I remember that name. That's the only thing I know. So we went and had a look around Rome. And one of these buildings, I think it had the old David in it. I think it had the old... I don't know, I can't remember if I saw David or if I just believe I did because I went around everything else. But the people were animal rights people. They were part of a group called Animal Equality, and they did activism and demonstrations. So I was quite interested in what they were doing, as well as the history of Rome. It's like a double-edged thing, isn't it? And there was a person that was there to see, and I was quite interested in spending time with them as well. Actually, that was the primary reason. But then they had these interesting friends, and then there was Rome, and Anyway, one of the buildings you go in, when you go in there, it's one of these things because there's a queue outside. They've got the tickets. They're all going in. I'm like, we'll go in there then. Oh, you'd like to go and see the thingy thing? And I'm like, yeah, as a cultured person, of course I knew that's what... This is the square that Michelangelo designed. Oh, of course it is. That's why I'm here, because I want to go into the square and see his... there's a queue, so it looked appealing. We went in, and there was all these heads like that. Like, all these heads. And I thought, hello. This is different, isn't it? This is different. I didn't go to the actual Vatican. I'll tell you that. I didn't go to the actual Vatican. I went in some churches. There was one point, tangent after tangent. At one point, my friend had to go and do some tutoring. I was left alone, and I wasn't in the centre of Rome where all the tourist bits are. I was in this wherever this person lived for their tutoring. So there's a little cafe, but Rome's clever like this. You're like, I'm in a little cafe. I'm going to spend an hour and a half. What am I going to do? I'll go for a little walk around there. Oh, hello. Look at this magnificent church. Look at this huge, magnificent building just round the corner, just in the neighbourhood, just in the suburbia, just packed in all on the hills. So I popped in this church, and they was doing. It wasn't like the tourist thing. They weren't like, here's your tickets for this one. It was just a working church. There was nuns. There was actual nuns. It wasn't the Vatican. I didn't go in there, but there was actual nuns. They were there up the top, doing something with the priests, and they were up the top doing some nunning, having a right nunning about. So I was careful and quiet. I wasn't going to be like, hey, check out the nuns, let's have a laugh with the nuns, take your picture. I was quite careful and quiet. And I did that, I did the old hello. I probably said hello, and they were like, they made their faces. There were some other people being quiet, kneeling, praying, doing the little, when the church business is going on, but they're not having the speeches. It's just the church are doing their business at the top there with the nuns, and the other people who really care are in the church, just sort of kneeling, having a little sweep up, that sort of business. So you're allowed to walk around quietly. No one's going to stop you. You get the camera out, they start having a little, the photo opportunity church is around the corner, mate. The one with all the statues and that's around this is the one with we've got the nuns. You can't take photos of the nuns, mate. They get, don't start. So I was quiet and I was looking around and I did a bit of that. So that's Rome. No, it wasn't. I went into this hall of heads. That's what happened. In the main bit of Rome, they wouldn't have none of that. Side job was potentially could have been Jesus. That is the thing. I wonder. That's a good point, isn't it? Possible Jesus. If you work in church, someone like me comes in with the long hair, the bit of the beard, looking a bit scruffy, bear in mind, because I'm not there on my fancy, this isn't my night out, I'm not there on my fancy. Maybe have my little backpack on, like my touristy backpack, come in, looking around, bit lost. Could be Jesus, couldn't it? That's the principle of the religion. That's the point of it. Everyone else other than you is supposed to maybe be Jesus, so you treat them as such. So they should let me take the photo with the nuns. In fact, they should be like, hey, come on in. We don't know for sure about anyone really, but somebody could be Jesus. He was. Do you remember in the old stories, in the old book? Do you remember in the old book, the old stories? We tell you one if you want. I'll get on the thing and no. All right. I do. Yeah, I remember. Jesus was. Wasn't he someone else? Wasn't he for a little bit? Wasn't he? He was, wasn't he, for a little bit? He was like a poor, unfortunate person, and then someone didn't help him, and he was like, oh. Thanks very much. This is exactly what happened, but they didn't send Jesus any tippies, you see. Now, you're okay, because Jesus has got his tippies now, so you're okay. We'll have the ASMR Jesus. We'll have the Jesus for that. We'll have a little bit of bright white Jesus, please. Thank you. And then we'll go back to... Oh, no, that's red. That's the other fella. Let's just fuchsia that up a bit. Not red, that's the other fella. Right, okay. 30-second delay. 30-second delay. It's got settings. It's got settings. I'm not going to mess with them. Don't get me messing with them now. I'm telling you about Jesus. So, right. So they should invite you in. because potentially you could be Jesus. In the old stories, right? In the old stories, in the old book, one of the stories, Jesus was like a transformer, wasn't he? He was what was he? Is there one of those X-Men who can do that? Who can like whoosh, masquerade or something? I don't know any of the X-Men. Now's the time to not know the X-Men. You know, he was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, wasn't he, Jesus? A bit like that, but without the bad. He didn't have the bad. He could just change him. He was a shapeshifter. I think it's okay to say Jesus was a shapeshifter, isn't it? Jesus was Optimus Prime. He probably, you know what? In theory, you could probably overlay. I can imagine Optimus Prime on the cross, on the cross, like that. Yeah, probably. And that would make the other ones like the disciples, wasn't it? And the one with the tape recorder is the best disciple, obviously. Decepticons, Judas. No, the devil. Look, so... wait, yeah, let's get back to Jesus. Let's get back to Jesus, because this is Mental Health Monday, and I'm allowing it to get way off track. Just the one tangent. Any of us could be Jesus. That is the principle. It's in the book. He was a shapeshifter, and at some points he was like a poor man, and then the people didn't give him any help, and he was like, oh, do you remember when you didn't give that man any help? Well, I was Jesus and I was him, so you should have helped me, you chuffer. Like, he played pranks on people like that. These days he'd have been on YouTube. Old man prank, leper prank, and then another like companion video like Mr. Beast healing lepers for cash. Not for cash, for just because he's Jesus. You could be Jesus. He could be anyone. He was a shapeshifter. He was also, another time, if you remember, another time he was somebody else. Wasn't he someone else another time? He vanished and reappeared. He did that. That's magic. So anyway, I could be Jesus. That's the principle. It's in the book. It's in the book. You're the religions. You're the nuns. You are the nuns. You're the nuns. I'm me. We're in the church. So when they did come in and they gave me the funny look, not a funny look, but a funny look, like a ghost. Well, there you go. Exactly. Exactly. I thank you very much from the bottom of my Jesus. Well, do you want some more Jesus? This will come out well in the edit. I'll put a reverb on it. Not the red, that's the bit more fuchsia. So I could be Jesus. I could have been Jesus, just having a little pop in, having a little check, couldn't I? Who's this coming in at random while we're just up the top messing around with the holy water, blessing the holy water, filling up the jugs, pushing the nuns around. Now I'm the priest, pushing the nuns around. Get over there, you. Get over there, you. They don't remember all the nuns' names, because I'm the priest. I'm the main one. They're just the nuns, like pushing them around like pawns. Get over there, you. We need someone to sit over there to stop the chair from falling over. You, human chair. You sit there. I'll sit on you. Get over there, you. Lift me up onto the podium. It's time for the talk. Lift me up onto the podium. Go and let the punters in. Go and let them in. Get the collection plate, you. You. And they all turn round because they're so used to be called you. You. They all turn round. Not you. You. Yeah. No, I'm the priest. Oh, I'm not the priest anymore. Forget him. Her these days. Could have been a. Forget them these days. Maybe they can't. Maybe not in Rome. I don't know. In this particular building, when I walked in, they should have been more friendly and alluring as well. Alluring. If Jesus walked in, you wouldn't want to just be friendly. You'd really want him to come over. Of all your nunning days, of all the days you've been a nun, the day Jesus walks in, that's the time to start showing your sexy side. You need to shave to be a priest. They like silky skin. They like silky, or they like it on themselves or on the young. Anyway, look, wait. I learned that on Ganji Street. It's all going well. Here. It's all going well. So, yeah, if Jesus come in, you'd probably want to look at your sexy best. You'd probably want him to come over. Well, you know, listen, if you're a nun, your main thing is Jesus. That's your main one. You don't have posters of, like, BTS on your wall, do you? You don't know the names of all the BTS members. J. Hwan, Oh God, I don't know them all. God, I don't know them all. I've seen their names so many times. Don't know any of them. Howard from BTS. Howard. There was a Howard in Take That. You wouldn't credit it these days, would you? These days, if you want to be a pop star, mate, these days you've got to have a jazzy name. You can't be Howard, but well, Ed. You could be Ed. Ed doesn't count. He slipped through the net. Ed Sheeran. Is there a female Jesus? He probably had sisters. I saw a recreation of what Jesus actually looked like. Smoking hot. Well, there you go. You see, he would have been hot. He would have been good looking. Well, he's going to be looking, isn't he? He's going to be good looking because he's Jesus. He's the main. He's got all the good bits. God's not going to be like carving his son out of wax and being like, oh, let's give him a chuffing, one ear up here, one ear down here. Is it? Jesus is going to be nicely balanced. Nice setup. Jesus. And he's going to come in, and the nuns are going to be there. And they're going to think, oh, hello, Jesus. He's the main one. Done all my work so far has been to appeal to Jesus. And now he's come in, and he looks quite tasty. He looks quite tasty. He's in the building. He looks quite tasty. Even the priest has got to be thinking this. Even the priest, he's got to be pushing those nuns out of the way. Hey, me, Jesus, me. Jesus won't like that. He'll say, hey, mate, just chill. Stop pushing those nuns around. Hey, priest, leave those nuns alone. He'll come in, and the nuns will be like, oh, look at the way he stood up to the priest. Because they discard their vestments. Keep the wimple. Just discard the vestments. They've got clothes on underneath. Don't you start getting any funny thoughts here. You. Don't start getting any funny thoughts here. They're not naked underneath those. That would be, you're thinking about naked nuns. That's rude. I'm not suggesting that. They whip off the vestments. They've got their normal clothes on. That's all. Isn't it? That's all. And underneath that, they're naked. Some of them are taking off their shoes. Look, the nuns, the music, one of them's got the organ, haven't they? One of them's on the organ. And the music started to come in. The Barry White. Hey, baby. That's Al Green. Oh, Jesus, we love you. They sing the songs. That's all. They're into that. They sing the songs. You watch Call the Midwife, about the nuns. Oh God, you've heard the songs. Oh Jesus, you're so chuffing great. Aren't you so chuffing great? Oh Jesus, oh baby, I wish you'd. Well, the things I'd wish you'd do. Oh hello, Jesus. That's where the expression comes from, isn't it? Oh, Jesus. So that's Jesus. We've covered that. The nuns would like it. They'd be excited. He'd come in. They would appeal to Jesus. They'd want, because the main thing at the end of all of their endeavours, they want to sit down next to him. That's the main one. We all want to sit down next to him. We all want to get up there. Well, if we could get one step ahead of Jesus, if we could push Jesus out of the way and be at the right-hand side of the throne, that would be even better, wouldn't it? That would be even better. Like a Squid Game. like a sort of Squid Game head-to-head final. I'd play Squid Game with Jesus for the seat at the right hand of God, and I'd push him out like that, push Jesus off. What did you do? Get him in the neck with the... No, look. Jesus, look. Jesus, could you... Look, me and Jesus, we're all right, we're fine, we're tight, we're pals. He's not gonna go for me. I'm gonna win. So, we're gonna go into the church. I was in Rome. I went in a church. They didn't do that to me. They didn't sex it up for me. They were like, is that camera for you? At one point, somebody sort of, there was a sign about, no photography. This is a normal church. This is not like a, tourist spot. Written in all the different languages for the tourists. That's how we got here. And I went in and the nuns were there. And they should have thought, this could be Jesus. It's time to vamp it up. But instead, they just went about their nunnery. Didn't they? Just went about their nunning. Carried on dabbling in the holy water. Like BTS. They're like the way that young girls, not just girls, is it? See, I'm being sexist again. It's just beaten into me by the patriarchy. When young people are fanning over BTS and other bands. You know, they're doing that over Jesus in their spare time, aren't they? So, you know, they're there with their little pictures of Jesus. They have actually got little pictures of Jesus, haven't they? Another story. I was in the Czech Republic. I was in Prague, and I went in a museum, and I was sort of on my own. Well, sort of, exactly on my own. Like, when I say sort of, I was... It's not like I was sort of on my own. I was definitely on my own. All the other people that I was visiting Prague with, they were off being hungover or drunk, a measure of both. And I'd got some free time because I don't drink, so I was out in Prague. I went in this museum, and there was this really interesting piece, and they had, you know, okay, so I've got to set this right. So, you know, in museums, you go in and there's like all the art, yeah. You've seen that art museum. This was art one. It was an art one. It wasn't one of those with the heads. We'll get back to the heads in a minute. All art, all over the walls, all lovely art, big art, interesting art. So they often have someone stood in the corner, don't they, whose job it is to watch the art, like that. Make sure the art's all maintaining its artistic integrity, like that. Like a security, like an art security they have, to make sure the art doesn't do anything too dangerous, to make sure nobody's too offended by any of the shocking pieces, to make sure that nobody's ideas are getting influenced too heavily by, oh, could you tone that down please? Somebody's going to have to remove the Damien Hirst. It's getting out of order again. You know, the art security guard that they have in the museum. The one that's there to make sure that nothing gets out of hand with the paintings. In this Czech Republic, and this is not, bear in mind, this is not in Rome this time. This is the Czech Republic now. It's a different country. In the Czech Republic, they had that, but it was a nun. Honestly, honest to God, it was a nun. Now, I don't know if she was there as the art security, or if she was just having a day off. She stayed in the corner. She wasn't having a wander. I was in there on my own. Sort of on my own. Not now, because there's a nun. But when I entered as a solo person. So, please stop fondling Jesus' chest, madam. That's the truth. Maybe she was there. Maybe she was there for the Jesus, the sexy Jesus. Because one of the pieces, I mean, it was a bit abstract, but it was Jesus on the cross. Jesus on the cross, right? But it was like this sculpture thing made of like metal pieces and concrete. And then they had behind it on the wall like it was painted more resembling Jesus this time. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. She was looking at this painting, wasn't she? She was there just like, you know, oh Jesus, look at you in your big painted dark hues, browns, quite rustic and rough and a bit rough and ready, quite dramatic, a little bit abstract, but you know, shapes and forms, strength, Jesus, cross, drama, you know, that sort of business going on. It wasn't like a picture of this head here. You couldn't say, oh, look, there's Jesus, that's his face. It wasn't that clear. It wasn't like a good one of Jesus. It was like abstract and a bit, but there's the cross, isn't it? And that's the strong arms, and that's this crown of thorns, isn't it? That one. And is that his Wonka? No, look, she was there, right? She was there. They're married to him. So exactly, they're already even married to him. Aren't they? They're already even married to him. I forgot about that. It's part of the job. You're supposed to get like hot for Jesus. It's part of the... Is it a job being married? No, it's not a job, is it? Not a job. It can feel like that. Oh, hey, you don't know. I don't know because I'm not married. Anyway, look. So in this place, there's one nun. There's not nuns. There's one nun in the corner. I'm there. I'm on my own. I'm looking at this big Jesus. I'm looking at this sculptural Jesus. And these ideas are popping into my mind. You know how it goes. You've all been there. We've all been there in a foreign art gallery on your own with a nun looking at giant, slightly sexualized Jesus set against a more mechanical, augmented steel, concrete depiction of a crucifixion. We've all been there, haven't we? So what do you do? Like you would do, you turn to the nun, don't you? You turn to the nun. Oh look, you're telling your personal business in chat. I'm not going to pick up on that. Hang on, they're married to each other. You're the homewrecker. Oh, you're Jesus' homewrecker. Oh, I see. It's not really your personal business. Put a bit of doubt and confusion there. Oh, people are going to be like, oh, hello. You're edgy. We're all a bit edgy when Jesus is involved because he's hot. So what we're saying is that, so you turn to the nun. We've all done it. You turn to the nun and you say to her in the most appropriate, because I don't know the nun. Never met her. So in the most appropriate terms that I thought, and bear in mind she's not English. She might be English. I don't know. Is there a system with nuns? Do they export them? Do you have to stay nunning in your country of original nunnage? Or can you be an away day nun? Is there a what's the system? Like a work exchange, like a exchange student nun system? Or do you all just go to the Vatican to be processed? Is that what happens? You become a nun, and it's like an Amazon delivery system. You become a nun, you get your little sticker, I've got one that, from where I was in the flying when we had to save the world from those with Erin and Mikasa. I've got not look. From when I was in Attack on Titan, I've got my hood. Look, so the nuns, you get stamped with your nun number, your nun barcode, and then you get sent for central processing. So you straight off to the Vatican, get in the back of the van with all the other nuns. They drive you off to Nun HQ, Nun Processing UK, which get in the back of the thing with all the other nuns there, in the back of the aeroplane, to the Vatican. Arrive at the Vatican. Oh, it's nice here. Stop looking at things. You immediately. You thought it was. You thought the manhandling. Would it be manhandling these days? Just person handling. You thought the bad being pushed around was just because you were airport transit, but no. When you get there, you realise it's maintained. Stop looking at things. In the Vatican, we push nuns around. Show me your number. So you're in the central processing then, and then you have to file through and get your thing, and you get your little bag, get your weapon, and then they send you off to your where you've been allocated. And like the person that you were talking to on the plane, you've made a little friend on the plane, and they get sent off somewhere else, and you're like, one day we'll meet again, as they get dragged off to a different parish. You get allocated, don't you? You get allocated to a priest who's to a mate. So the priest has got a clipboard of I've got 36 new nuns coming this week. What am I going to do with them? I've already got them faffing around near the holy water when the tourists come in. What else can we do with them? I'm going to send one to the art gallery, of course. I'm going to be sending one to each of the art galleries to stand in the corner. Nuns. So this nun was in the art gallery. She was in the corner. And I was talking to her. I wasn't already talking to her. Send the big one. Send the big one. No, line them all up in high order. And they don't have names. I'm sorry. Yeah, I appreciate you might want to call it Big Bertha, because I remember the Big Bertha machine from when I was a kid in the cartoon. Big Bertha has a special place in my heart. But sadly, none of the nuns have names. They've only got numbers. They're only numbered. It would get out of hand if they all had names, wouldn't it? It would get out of hand. You don't want them getting funny ideas. They're already hot for Jesus. Let's just keep them focused on that. So the nuns, you're allocated to the priest. Anyway, look, I'm not already talking to her. She doesn't expect this. She's quietly in the corner. I'm walking around like a tourist, and I'm clearly a tourist. And she's like, imagine even having a name. Yeah, God knows their names. God will give them names. God will give them names. We don't have to fuss about with that. God will deal with that. We've got a number system here at the Vatican. It's easier. It's easier. Honestly, trust me. You might think you want a name. You might think that you're called Bertha, but trust me, love. Right, love. See, love. It's all love here at the Vatican. Stop looking at me. Trust me, love. Stop looking at me, love. Trust me. You'll find it easier if you've just got a number. We find it easier. We tried names in the past. We had Isaac begat Jeremiah, begat Isaiah, begat Jehovah, begat Ilemia begat Wilhelmsia, and it just got complicated. We tried names, it got complicated. We got going with numbers. The computer overlords, stop looking at me, when the artificial intelligence take over, which we're partially arranging. Obviously, the main guy, the Pope, he's busy apparently chasing children through the woods so he can drink their endocrine, apparently. I don't believe. Wait. I don't believe that. I'm not a conspiracy nut, and I don't think that he's eating their endocrine. But this is the. Stop looking at me in the Vatican. We're in the Vatican, remember, and I'm a priest talking to a nun, so I can say what I like. So you'll prefer being a number because we had names and it got complicated. All right, now give me your phone. Right. So I turned to this nun. I didn't say any of this. I turned to this real nun in a real art gallery. I'm English. I don't know where she's from. We're in the Czech Republic. What's she doing in the art gallery? She stood in the corner. There's a big painting of Jesus. It's all lavish and browns and dark hues and strong muscular shapes. And there's a big skeletal made of like concrete and metal and big like this foot. It looks like a destructed, like a bombed out bit of building that's actually the shape of like Jesus on the cross in a way. It's all there in the room. I turn to the nun and I just say, he's sexy, isn't he? About the big one. He's sexy, isn't he? And she gave me a bit of a look. I think she probably, I didn't expect her to understand English. So I thought, here we go, she understands. That's a good start. We're off to a good start. I said, isn't he? Look, ooh, you know what I'm like, I'm doing it now. It's 1,000. 1,000 for appealing to the nun's sense of Jesus, hottie sexual. She's feeling it. I know she's feeling it. It's the whole deal being a nun. She's like, it's Jesus, she loves him. She's not going to say no, is she? She's not going to be like, no, don't say that about my Jesus. He was a mahuta. People didn't like looking at Jesus. No, they loved him. He was a bit of a hottie. So anyway, like I turn to the nun, I say it's sexy, and she gives me the look, and then I go on because I'm like I am. I'm like, you know what I mean though? It's like he looks kind of like, kind of raw and like powerful and muscular, and it's evocative of earth, isn't it? Because you've got all these hues, like these brown hues and this like dark shades, a bit of green, like it's evocative of the earth and the actual soil. And of course I say to the nun, like, she's at this point, her ears are perked up, at least. She's put the wimple down. She hasn't, you've got to keep the wimple on. She's listening. I said, it's evocative of the earth, isn't it? Because Jesus, of course, and the old fella, the big old fella, not the big fella, made man from a clot of mud, didn't he? God made man from a clot of mud. Man and woman, you, nun, stop looking at me. He made us from a clot of mud, right? He made us from a clot of mud. So there it is, isn't it? Like mud, like painted and shaped and this muscular and sexy, and we're human, aren't we? So we are a bit, and I was saying this to the nun. Gonna have to do a script for this don't know what's gonna happen to Mental Health Monday this week. This is the history of mental health. We've only just got started. Hippocrates has just kicked us off. We've got endless time in the future. Jesus has arranged for us to have a few more days. Maybe not endless, or maybe they are. No, Jesus has arranged endless days. So imagine when you get to heaven, it's like this. Listen, we can do it next week if we have to. Look, Jesus, in all his infinite wisdom, was made from a clot of mud like every other man. He's God's representative on earth. He's like his little, his son, only son. We might have had a daughter. Look, he's on earth. He's made out of mud like me, like you, nunny. Stop looking at me, nunny. He's made out of, you gotta listen, but not look. What's your number? Give me your number. I'm reporting you. I'm reporting you to the nearest priest, nunny. Give me your number. Right, so Jesus is up there and he's all muscular and he's all made of mud and brawn and raw and sexy and sexual, because we're humans and the way we conceive is sex, and the way that babies are made is like a dirty concept, isn't it? Dirty in social, when we talk about social, dirty sex, you dirty old man, it's brawn and sexual. So but Henry's sexual. No, it's Jesus. It's fine to discuss him in these ways. This is what he wanted. If he didn't want it like this, he wouldn't have allowed his dad to shape the world in the way. Look, so Isha, I should call him Isha. He was sexy, and this is a painting. We're in the art gallery. I'm telling this to a nun, and I'm aware that the nun's getting a bit, why is this guy going on about Jesus and sex? She's getting a bit hot under the collar. I'm looking a bit Jesuine. She's like, hello, is this the man? Is this the Jesus? Has he come to me? Is this the time? She's starting to unzip the vestments. The wimple is getting... No. Hold on, love. Because whilst I'm just telling you about art. Just describing art. It's there on the wall. I need someone to talk to. You're just there in the corner like an art guard to make sure it doesn't escape. And I'm here making sure that it's appreciated. We've also got this structure placed in front of this sexual, raw, earthen Jesus. We've got this structure. This concrete structure now. It's got metals. They're shaping the Jesus. Metals that are shaping that's clearly it's a crucifix. It's like, that's the main thing of Jesus. We remember on the crucifix. That's how we tore him down, isn't it? That's the thing we did to, well, not me. Not me, bear in mind, love. Don't get angry now. Don't get angry with me. Stop looking at me, you nun. Like, you're not supposed to look at me, and you keep looking at me. It's not my fault, is it? I mean, I don't want to have to push your face like that, but it's the rules. So, I know. Yeah, I asked the vicar. Ask him. Well, don't ask him, because you're not allowed. Look. Anyway, Jesus told me. How about that? Jesus told me. Oh, he didn't tell you. Oh, did he not speak to you? Well, you're not good enough for Jesus. Right, look. What's happening is that there's this other sculpture, and it's more raw, and it's man-made. It's not, made out of clods and mud, and it's made out of sculptural material and concrete, and the way we build our institutions, our cities, our buildings. I say institutions as well because we're in a great big museum and institution made out of great big blocks of building, and and out of that rubble it was formed out of this statue is more, it wasn't nicely neat. It was like, so we've had a war, haven't we? We've had buildings blown up, we've had social change, and here's a depiction of a Christ on a cross, of sacrifice, of loss, of there's these feelings coming through this, isn't there? But it's man-made. So what we're saying in this space is that we've got this earthen Jesus, a much more divine depiction of Jesus, because it's made with the clot of earth. Okay, it's been done by a man's hand on the canvas, but they're trying to evoke the same process that God went through when he crafted us from clots of mud. That's up there on the wall, and in front of it, standing opposed to it, is this structural form still holding on to its shape despite the destructions and changes. This man-made structural form, concrete that can't be changed, steel that is difficult to bend. That's the institution of the church, isn't it? That's the man-made institution of the church that's wrought so much savagery. Look at the bending of the metal. Look at the breaking of the concrete. Look at the destruction it may have wrought. I'm saying this to a nun. I'm saying this to a nun. But I'm saying it, and she's listening, and I'm saying this is the two. Look, it's a contrast between what man does with religion. Man, woman, nun. Stop looking at me. People do with religion, the way we construct it, and the early, the inception of the form of man, of the Jesus figure, the painting, the art, the one on the wall is so much more beautiful, isn't it? So much more. That's the one you're looking at with your under your little vestments, isn't it? That's the one you're looking at. The sexy art, the muscle, the form of primitive man. Is that his one? That one. That's just formed out of brawn and yeah, that's lovely. Keep that on the wall. Keep that one. I'll have that. How much is that? Does the church have much spare cash? Does the church have much spare cash? They could buy that. It's nice. What about the iron one? Oh, wouldn't put that in my living room. Wouldn't keep that kicking about. You'd hurt your toe. Wouldn't keep that. Don't like that as much. Different feelings. Isn't it wonderful what art can do and say? Isn't it wonderful what's been constructed in this room? I said to the nun. It doesn't even stop there. That's going in my bedroom. Sexy Jesus on the wall. Big rock solid mangled mess. Oh, my leg's trapped. Ah, get it out of there. Ah, that not said the nun. she's got BTS Jesuses on her wall. The Jesus boy bands. In fact, it would make quite a good boy band, wouldn't it? You'd have John, Paul, George, and Ringo. They were the disciples, weren't they? John, Paul. I think one of them was called Simon. Ringo, he was the drummer. So I said this to the nun, and the story concludes. There is a little payoff to the end of the story, which is that, she didn't say anything back to me at any point. She didn't say anything back. I did all this rant about all this stuff. She said nothing back to me at any point. I'm thinking I'm losing her here. She's long stopped thinking I'm Jesus. She's long started thinking who's this fella? But no, she came over as I was walking away to the next room. She's got to stay in that corner, I think. I don't know. Maybe that's her corner. Maybe that's where she sells her. Oh, well, this is the thing, isn't it? She come over to me. She said, "Excuse me." She didn't say it. Maybe she's got a vow of silence. Maybe Jesus will not let her talk. Don't look at me. What are you coming over here and saying excuse me for? I thought we'd been through this. Don't look at me, you nun. Right, look. 76352. What is it you wanted? And she handed me this thing. Little thing. I touched my arm, which was quite an affront for a nun, but I did say, what is it you wanted? Touched my arm. You're going to get it now. If the priest knew you were touching my arm. She touched my arm and she gave me this. It was a little prayer blessing thing, plastic wallet thing, little metal picture of a metal on a metal. The ladies wear them around their necklace, a little thing like that. It was all foreign. I couldn't read it. I just threw it back in her face. Get off it, that meaning nun. Touching me now. I could have caught something off that stuff. No, I kept it. I was like, thank you. Give her this again. Give her that. Get off my arm. Get off my arm. Give her that. Thank you. I don't know if she wanted money. I don't know if this is a thing. You get out on the wild streets of Prague. If people are giving out saintly blessings and expecting some money in exchange, where's my tip? Where's my tippies for that? Where's my non-tippies? But no, she didn't get any money. I wasn't offering any. She just handed me the thing, and I think she got a bit of a kick out of me telling her about Jesus, didn't she? I think she enjoyed it. There you go. There's your non-tippies for the nuns. For the nuns. Hooray for the nuns. So I think she got it. I think she liked it, and that was a story about Jesus and nuns, and that went because I'd gone into a church in Rome on my little time off, and it was a different church, and they weren't appealing, they weren't nice. So I had a little look, and went away. Went and got myself a little bagel. You don't have bagels in Rome, do you? What am I talking about? Went and got myself a little, Italian style. Well, not style, it actually was Italian. Some food, baked, vegan. No, not animales. Not animales. English. I'm English. No animales. Bit like Jesus, yeah. So that story goes in the record books. Clip that. So we're going all the way back now. Taking this all the way back from the tangent. This fella got his head fossilised because he was a good thinker, and they thought, I like your ideas, son. That's interesting. So he was Greek, and then the Romans took over, and they had his head fossilised, so it's there forever. I think that's the system. So years to come, years to go by. Get a beheading. You get a beheading. It's like a special. I'm going to veer away from going too deeply into the religious-based beheading jokery foolery, because there's some modern context to it that's quite serious and bad. and I don't want to get bumped off Twitch. You got your head fossilised. You got it turned into a fossil, and you got it kept forever because you're a good old thinker. Hippocrates, ain't you the chuffer? And this is exactly what you look like. Now, I went into Rome. I was in Rome. It's going to come as a real anticlimax, this now. I went in, there was a queue. If you remember, there was a queue. So I thought, this is going to be good. I expected big statues and paintings. I went in. The room wasn't much bigger than this. Honestly, the room wasn't much bigger than this. I went in, and there's heads. And it made me think of Futurama. In Futurama, they've got the wall of heads, the room of the old president's heads, haven't they? And they're all heads in jars, and they're talking. This wasn't as good as that. It made me think of that, and I thought, hello, look at these heads. And then nothing happened. There was no... They should have perked it up with an interactive button. They could chisel away there at the... hello, I am Hippocrates. I was a thinker. I had some thoughts about mental health. I was the... If it weren't for me, they'd still think it was God and Jesus was making you feel bad. So that's what they could have done on a button. In all the different languages, mind. Could have had that in Chinese as well, because you get a lot of different button probably for the... So you can have it going at the same time so that people who are English can listen at the same time as the Chinese. And a button for every head. Every head could have several buttons. Have them all going at the same time. It would have made it better. But no, it was just fossilised heads. So I went in and I had a look round, and they were the most famous people. The thing is, they thought they were the most... In London, we've got Madame Tussauds, and what they do in London in Madame Tussauds, right, it would have made it the stuff of nightmares. I'll tell you a little story about that. Before we get on to Madame Tussauds, I'll tell you a little story about that. I once worked in a factory. I didn't used to do this all the time. This wasn't my full-time job. Thank God it is now. The money we've made tonight is the biggest chippy total that I've had thus far, and I'm absolutely, thanks to this, I don't have to work in a factory. Thank God. I used to work in a factory. I didn't work there very long. Not very long. It wasn't my main thing. It was just a little, when you're trying to get a job and you haven't got a job, and you're supposed to have a job, so you have to try and get a job, and you go to the job centre or anywhere, and what's that other place that they've got a it's like an agency. That's it, an agency. You go to the agency and they say, oh, we'll get you set up with a nice job. And you say, oh, a nice job, that sounds nice. Let's fill in this form, tell us all about the nice job you want. And you fill in the form, and you're like, oh, can it be somewhere warm? Can it be somewhere warm, please? You were looking after babies the other day. I quite like that. Warehouses all the way, baby. Warehouse might be nice, it might be warm. See, I was thinking about warm. The factory wasn't warm, I'll tell you that. It was noisy as well. And I said to them, can I have a nice... They put in a horrible job. And you have to go because you filled in the form. And anyway, so I went to this factory. I only did it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I couldn't stand it. My job was putting on hoses onto a little thing. Part of the job was putting up with the big chuffer next to me. That was part of the job. I assume that's why they didn't have anyone in my position, because it was in a chuffer of a position. I can't hardly breathe here, mate. I need my arms to put the hose in. All right, I know we've only got a little workstation and you're the main one. I'm not arguing with you, mate. You carry on. I don't need that screwdriver anyway. I'll just get the hose on. I'll bring my own screwdriver tomorrow, don't worry. So anyway, the factory, the warehouse isn't too warm, but the admin office I work in is, so you got a chair in an office. That's the way forwards. But yeah, so I'm in this factory. I didn't like it. But then at half time, it's not half time, it's your lunchtime. So at your lunchtime, I've got the traditional... I used to be a roofer. That was a job I didn't mind as much as... I preferred the roofing to the factory. In the roofing, you make your own lunch and you take it with you every day. It's important. So in the factory, I took my own lunch with me every day. It's important. So I'm sat there eating my little sandwiches. And I'm in a room eating sandwiches. And it's not a proper canteen. They added like a... those metal things that they ship immigrants in and out of the country. Those shipping crates that they keep, that they put the immigrants in for when they're trying to murder them, when they're trying to move them. You know them. It was like one of those, and we were in this shipping crate thing. Like, it was not the factory, so it was better than that. But yeah, and I was eating my sandwiches, and all the people. It was back in the Nokia days. So ringtones were the thing. back then, but they weren't like music, like nice music. They were just like horrible beeping noises. And everyone had got a new ringtone. Everyone. Even the man that made, I can't move now, mate. Even him, he'd got a new. And not only did they have a new ringtone, but they wanted their friend to hear their new ringtone. And it's like this Hall of Heads, all the buttons. They all were playing their ringtone. It's lunchtime, bear in mind. Like in a shipping container, like in a big metal. It looks like a metal box, like a big metal box that you get on the back of lorries, and the lorries drag them around. Big shipping container. We sat in that to eat our sandwiches, and they played ringtones which reverberated off the small metal structure. And I'm sitting in there and like ringtones, just not one ringtone, but multiples. All beep 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 beep. I eat my sandwiches. I thought this is the life. Glad I made some nice sandwiches. This is the life. Jesus wouldn't put up with this. He wouldn't put up with that. John, can you put your phone away? Supposed to be speaking to the people here, John. Peter? No, Peter. It's not important, Peter. You can post on Twitter. I'll say it and then you post it. How about that? How about that, Peter? Why don't you wait for me to say it first? Peter. It's always tweeting Peter, isn't it? Petey Tweeter. Tweety Peter, that's what we'll call you, Peter. Tweety Peter. Stop pushing those nuns around. I suppose you can. Well, are you ordained? I don't know. You're just some fella that follows me around. I don't know how that got to be a thing. Don't know how that got to be a thing. Just follow the fella around and you're in. You didn't. Did you have to do any? Have we got your file, Peter? Have we got you on file? Did you have to fill in a form? You didn't even fill in an application form, Peter. Well, does Human Resources even have you on record? Well, Peter, I mean, you've been part of the crew for quite a long time now, Peter. It could be a problem. I'm not being funny, Peter. It could be a problem. I'm not being funny, but I know. Oh yeah, okay. You do good work. Everyone here, we're all in the same boat, and you'll get that metaphor because you were a fisherman. So were you? I don't know. I can't remember which one was whose. We should give you all numbers. Anyway, we'll use that for the nuns in the future. Note that one down. I point at you. Well, Brian, is it? I don't know. Brian. Oh, it's Judas. Oh, well, it's a silly name anyway. No one will remember you. Look, don't start seething, Judas. Don't start seething. Don't get any funny ideas, mate. Don't get any funny ideas. I can see in your mind. I can read you. I've got Jesus powers. Listen, over here, you. No, we should give you all numbers. I'm not... Okay, Peter, what was happening? You were tweeting. Yeah, I've gone off. Anyway, look, you get your head fossilised. If you've been main good thinking. But it's not the Hall of Fame. This is the Hall of Fame from ancient Greece. This is the Hall of Fame from all the way up to Rome. So you go in there and you don't recognise anyone. Just pulling it back. Did I resolve that tangent? I don't know. I'll find out in the edit. We can leave that one. That one could be set adrift. So you're in Rome. You've lined up in the queue. You've gone in. You think this is supposed to be good. They're all queuing for it. You get in. You're not allowed to malinger around there. You move through, please. We've got people in the queue trying to get in. 5-6 minutes in the room looking at the heads. Get out. You've paid your money. This is going to be good. Shuffling along. Head after head. Don't know who that is. Don't recognise him. Never seen them. They're not on telly. They didn't have a Tom Cruise. He's into religion. He could get in there. They didn't have a Victor Meldrew. Would have been good. Victor Meldrew. I'm a fan of only one foot in the grave. What's his name? Victor Meldrew. He could have been in it. Didn't have him. Didn't even have Shaq. Shaq's easy. He's like this guy, but without a beard, so he's just like easier to carve, isn't he? Need a big piece of rock. But other than that, big tall Shaq. It wouldn't be tall, would he? It'd just be his head. So you'd get away with it. It'd be easier. People say, I'd say, I've done Shaq. they go, oh, I bet that was an effort. He's a big tall fella. You go, yeah. You wouldn't say, no, it wasn't. I just done his head. You go, yeah. Just let them think it. Let them think it. I've done Shaq. You carved a big tall fella. Yeah. No, they didn't have any of them anyway. And do you know who else they didn't have? They didn't have because back in the day when they were doing this head museum, when they were deciding who's famous, they didn't have Michelangelo and people like that, because Michelangelo was like one of the artists of the time who was plying his trade and like maybe making a few heads, pushing a few nuns around, moving up in the world. But the heads, you're in Rome, so they're not, and it's not Michelangelo. He's the main. You've heard of him. Leonardo da Vinci, definitely heard it. Didn't have his head. It's all old Greek people, and Greeks aren't Romans. So I've gone all the way to. If I wanted to see the Greeks, I could have gone to Greece, couldn't I? Could have gone to Greece. If I wanted to see the Greeks, I could have arranged for my forebearers. I could have arranged for the Imperial British, my ancient, in one family line somewhere probably, my ancient forebearers to go to Greece and steal their antiquities. When I could just go and look at them in London, couldn't I? I don't have to arrange for that. Jesus arranged for that for me. That's already happened. So you don't get to do that in America. You can't see the Elgin marbles in America. You can't see the dead bodies of ancient Egyptians being dug up and dragged back to your country, because we had an empire. So, I'm not going to go on about that. Oh, you got a Gifty! Look, and it's got its own meritus box. Gifty's got their own meritus box. Just try and stay in mine. That was loud. There are settings. I'm not going to mess with them. They're not going to get messed with until one day in the future when somebody more intelligent than me can have a little mess with them and say, oh, why have you got that set to that? So don't start questioning me. Stop looking at me. Oh, you're not a nun. Oh, sorry, it was just a wimple. I'm sorry. Because you're wearing a wimple. Well, I know. We'll have to talk to Jesus. Jesus will sort it out. Don't look at me. I just work here. Jesus will sort it out. It's because you're wearing a wimple. Oh God, this has gone too far. Hang on, Peter's been recording it on his phone. He's posted it on Twitter. Now I'm in trouble. Pushing a nun on Twitter. Now I'm in trouble. The Twitter mob's going to get on me for pushing the nun. It was bad enough when I made that joke about Gabby Petito. Look, so she went to the desert to find herself, and they had to find her in the desert. This guy, he was Hippocrates. Learning stream. I've set it up, this stream, as talk shows, because over there is a table and multiple microphones, and other people can sit here and have this with me. That's going to happen in the near future. Jesus would have done that, wouldn't he? Jesus would have gone around all the different disciples and given them all a bit of a nickname, wouldn't he? Given them all a bit of a nickname. Tweety Peter Dirty Thumb. Bit of a nickname. John the Baptist. See, John the Baptist. Old Bappy. Bappo. He got his own nickname. That's how you got yours, yeah? ASMR Jesus gave you a nickname. Yeah, Jesus would have been good at that. Naming things. Hippocrates, so Mental Health Monday. Oh, Bappo, yeah. John the Baptist, Bappo. Hey, Bappo! Come here, Bappo. Jesus and his mates out on a Saturday night, all going down the. I don't know what they had. Did they have in Damascus? Did they have pubs? Water into wine, isn't it? So out there with his mates. Jesus, he's in the front like that. Or is he in the front? The coolest one, you don't know. The coolest one doesn't always walk right at the front, do they? Because that'd be like too cool. You've got a couple at the front who are like kicking. One's kicking a can and one's got his like hands in his pockets. They're at the front. The main one's just slightly back from them. There's a bit of depth in the picture here, isn't there? Now the main one's Jesus in the middle there, just doing. I don't know why they didn't do this instead of the all sitting down having dinner. When you think about it, this would make a much better movie poster, wouldn't it? You know, in Reservoir Dogs when they're all walking and they've all got suits on, and they all look really cool, and they're all walking, and the main one's not at the front, is he? And there's one slightly to the back, and they're all the same, but they're all slightly different because they're all in a gang, and they're cool. Because gangs are cool, aren't they? Like the Crips. You're not allowed to do gang signs. Specifically, it says that's not gang signs. That's just me moving my hands to show you what gang signs might look like. In terms of service, it actually says don't do gang signs. So I don't know why I did that. But gangs are cool, aren't they? So Jesus would have been equivalent to like a gang, him and his gang, wouldn't it? In fact, he wouldn't have been the Crips because he would have healed the Crips, wouldn't he? So, way, but no, that was probably a misjudged joke as well. Jesus and his gang on a Saturday night would have been stomping down the town, wouldn't they? Would have been stomping down the town, and it'd have had a bit more of a way. I'm Jesus at this point in his life now, got his entourage around him, got his mates. Bit of a Suge Knight thing going on. Hey, I'm Jesus. Don't look at me. This is where the nun pushing started. Don't look at me. Pushing people out of the way. Jesus and his gang. They turn up in the club, and the music doesn't stop because that would be unless Jesus wants it to. He'd point his finger and the needle would. Jesus is in the club. Put that record back on. Jesus is in the club, and then people are like looking, aren't they? They're all looking over, but they don't want to look too much because don't want to be seen looking at Jesus. Don't have Jesus coming over. What are you looking at, mate? I was just looking. You came in and what? You looking at me? Are you? What? You, Jesus? I mean, do you know how do you know my name? You calling me by name now? Are you? You calling me by name now? Are you? You know me, do you? You know me. You're my mate. Are you? You're my mate. Are you? Well, you're not in my crew. If you were my mate, you're in my crew. You'd be with my crew, wouldn't you? But you're not in my crew because my crew just all come in, didn't we? So what are you looking at, mate? Me? Jeez, me? You looking at yourself now, mate? I don't think you are. I think you're looking at me, mate. I think you're looking at me. All right. I'm going to get my head kicked in by Jesus in a minute. I'm going to get my head kicked in by Jesus. So better leave that there. But it would make a better movie poster for the front of the Bible. I don't know why they went with... They've gone with some of the weaker... Like, they got that... The table, they're all having their tea, aren't they? The supper. They're all having the supper. It's like a really long... Hold your phone on the side for that one, isn't it? Hold your phone on the side for that one. Misjudge that. These days, everyone's in profile on the phone. TikTok. Wouldn't have worked for TikTok, would it? You've got the cross for TikTok. That's what that's for. The crucifix is for TikTok. On the cross for TikTok. But it could be a craze, couldn't it? Crucifixion craze. TikTok. Do a little dance. Ooh, ee, cha cha, walla walla bing bong. Ooh, ee, ooh, cha cha, tang tang, walla walla bang bang. That's all that is. That's all that is. If you're doing a little TikTok dance and you don't realise you're going ooh, ee, ooh, cha cha, tang tang, walla walla bing bang. Like, fool, you fool, you fool. Jesus thinks you're a fool. No, TikTok's fun, isn't it? It's a laugh for children and adults who like children. Anyway, look, the thing is, for Jesus, the cross is quite a strong, like, logo, isn't it? It's quite a strong logo he's got going. But the image, the Last Supper, that's not. I know it's not the official. There are others, but that one's profile. They're all just sat there behind it. You only got not much personality. What you want, we should restyle Jesus, shouldn't we? We shouldn't have to because he's perfect. He'd have got it right the first time. Restyle Jesus. Him and his mates pushing nuns. There's a nun going flying out. They're all there. They've all got their suits, different, slightly different, because they're all part of the same crew, but different, like a gang. Jesus is the main one. He's in the middle. He's sort of like slightly more golden, shiny than the other. He's in hologrammatic form. If he was, they should have done. They've missed a trick here, haven't they? Did they do religious trading cards? Did they do collectible Pokemon cards, but for Jesus? And I suppose you'd have a problem, wouldn't you, depicting the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You'd have a problem depicting the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on a trading card. Jesus would be a foil, golden legendary, wouldn't he? But the Prophet Muhammad, you wouldn't want to depict him on a collectible playing card because people might try and cut your head off. But it doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that you can't. It definitely does not say in the Quran that you cannot put a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on a collectible credit-sized playing card. It doesn't say that you can't. So that's just one to leave out there. I'm not doing that, so don't come after me. yeah, so Jesus and his mates stomping through Damascus, like the crew, the wrecking crew. Jesus is a bit more shiny. He's shiny, hologrammatic foil. You got Bappo, big mean Bappo, trademark weaponry. I don't know what kind of weapon he would have. A shotgun probably, wouldn't he? Bappo with a shotgun. Who else have you got? Now they're becoming a bit more like the Wild West cowboys that are so romanticised. Jesus is wearing chaps, shiny golden chaps, and you've got Bappo with a shotgun. Tweety Pete, forget Tweety Pete, push him out of the way like the nuns. Bappo the gun go back. Bappo's a proper. Bappo's a. He's got all those. Are they diamonds or are they Swarovski crystals? I don't know if all the crystally shiny diamonds all over his hat, all over his teeth and his chains. He's a proper pop Bappo. Hold you underwater, John the Baptist, will you? Hold you under the water. Hold you under the water. Now you're clean. Now you can join the Jesus gang. Part of the initiation, you get jumped in by John Bappo the Baptist. Hold you underwater. Get up, you. Stop looking at me. Do you love Jesus? Do you love Jesus? So, I laughed then, but then I thought, there was a moment where I thought, actually, that's kind of sad, because that might have actually happened to someone. And then I laughed again. So, now I've told you what's going on in my head. Jesus and his crew, they would have made a much better movie poster, much better imagery, sold more copies of the Bible, wouldn't they? They'd have sold more copies of the Bible. Got their gun, got their, you've got got to remember that, your time is short in life, and after you've done your big thing, your main thing, then you do your little book, don't you? You've seen a lot of them, autobiographies. Do a little book. I don't know if they write their own books these days. They didn't back then, did they? Jesus didn't write his own book. Do your little book. Get your little book tour going. I bought a book from a comedian that I think is quite funny. I got a book of a comedian who's went to see their show. I bought their little book. Jesus on tour. Got his little book for sale, hasn't he? So you'd sell a lot more copies of the Bible if you all look cool on the front, like Reservoir Dogs. Bappo, shotgun, holding people. You're clean. Ugh. Believe in Jesus. You got them. And I try and remember all the different ones now, isn't there? There's Peter. Wasn't there Mark? Wasn't there Mark with one of Jesus' mates? There was Matthew, Luke, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, I think it was. Ringo was the drummer. So, yeah. And now that we've thought about what it would be like to restyle Jesus, the Last Supper, could jazz that up a bit, couldn't they? Could jazz that up a bit. Just naff it off. You just naff it off. It's not that good. It's painted on a chuffing wall out of mud and like plaster. Like, it's not even these days. What are you going to do with that? I can't even get that on my wall. It's a mud and plaster. Wait, how's that going to get on my TikTok? Mud and plastering, like, what do you call it? Fresco. A fresco. Fresco. That's the name of a convenience shop these days, isn't it? Fresco. That's the place where you go and buy like a packet of cigarettes and well, you wouldn't. I would. I wouldn't these days. Not a packet of cigarettes. But you'd go to a shop reasonably late at night and it would still be open. It's called Fresco. And then they've got items in there, and none of them are Fresco, are they? They've got like apples that are going brown in like little plastic wrap. Fresco. How's he going to circle back to? Yeah, well, Mental Health Monday is completely abandoned. We only got the. This is what I was going to circle around to ending the stream because we only got the introduction in. We learned who Hippocrates was, and that he was the first person to think about mental health in a different way, other than. He was he maybe wasn't the first. Maybe other people had the idea as well, but we're going to give him a lot of credit for it. Before him, it was all Amun-Ra, and God was your problem. God hates you, so you've got problems. That's your problem, isn't it? God hates you, so you better perk up, because otherwise God's going to come and get you. Then Hippocrates came around, had his head fossilized, said, it's not all God, is it? It's not all God, is it? And after that, they were like, you know what? Fair enough. Then Jesus came around and was like, oh, going to cast some doubt in the confusion in the old. It seemed like you were going the right way there, Hippocrates. It seemed like you and your contemporaries were like instigating modern medicine, but I just want to jump in here and say, don't worry, I can magically heal people instead. So don't worry about this science thing going on. Don't worry about these murmurings of ideas, of thinkings. Don't you even look at me, you're a nun, right? I'll just heal them by magic, and you can all just come and be in my gang. We're having supper club. You have to ask Bappo if you can be in. Can you hold your breath? You're going to need to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to let my mind run away from me. I'm happy to just start streaming, try and capture it. Where is my mind? Where is my mind? That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this stream. It's been good. I'm happy with it. We do need to buckle down some weeks and get some serious business done. If you look through our own history, look at this. See that segue then? If you look at our own history, together, we've done some serious things. Absolutely. They're there. They exist. And then we've got the history of mental health to get through. And it's going to be dark. There's going to be some dark water. Isn't there? There's going to be some dark water. There's going to be, I'll show you what it's going to be. It's going to be that place, if we can ever get up to that point in history. That place where you get put and they don't like you and they're mean to you and then they do horrible things. We're going to talk about some horrible things in the modern context, but the pre-modern context is still important as well. We've got London in the 1500s when this building didn't exist, but the similar sort of thing existed, which was where's it gone? There. 1559, Bedlam. The very first. Not the very first, possibly, but it's on that map, so we can guarantee it was there then. It's been around for a long time, some of these concepts, and they've been doing some quite strange things. Thank you for the tippies, the chippy tippies. Thank you for the chippy tippies. Jesus does love you. I've had it confirmed in my ear. News just in. Jesus loves you. Jesus should be pouring wine. Oh God! Now you've got me thinking. Could you imagine if we did a series of photographs where we just get sexy Jesus Jesuine figures? I've made up that word today, Jesuine. I don't know if it really exists, but it sounds like about right, doesn't it? We get Jesuine figures. We'll make a Jesus calendar. We'll make the world's sexiest, hottest Jesus calendar this year. The sexiest, hottest Jesus calendar. All naked, muscular. Some of them don't have to be too muscular because, you know, we like them different sizes. Some of them could be a little bit, you know, a little bit more to hang on to. We like them different sizes. Our Jesuses. Look, we'll shoot the most sexy Jesus calendar you can think. Hot, raunchy, seductive Jesus. All different bits out of the Bible that you've suggested there. Look, different bits as well. Or, isn't there one where they use oil? Isn't there one where they have oil? Someone anoints him. Get the frankincense out. That was when he was a little kid. You can't do that. That's all right. You know, priests. You know, I'll push your face. If you push that nun, I'll push your face. You can push nuns. I'm not pushing them. I'll push your face. I know you're the priest. I know I'm not the priest. I could be Jesus for all you know. For all you know, I could be. I will push your face. Like, so, but we'll get the sexy Jesuses. It won't just be your money though, will it? I'll tell you whose money we're going to get. All the nuns. That's going to be Nun's favourite. On the cover of Nun Monthly, there'll be a picture of a nun with the calendar, like shocked but loving it, on the cover of Nun Monthly this month. And it won't just be on month. It'll carry through because it's a calendar. So every month they'll turn the new one. Oh, shockers! New sexy Jesus shot. Every month it'll be a recurring theme. Have you seen this month's? I know they'll have seen. They buy the calendar. You look at them all straight away, don't you? You look at them all straight away. You don't wait till November to reveal what Kylie looks like in November. Kylie, he's supposed to be Hot Jesus. What, did you not all have a Kylie calendar when you were? No, you know what I mean. Hot Jesus. You won't wait till Hot Jesus October. You just look at them all straight away, and then you look forward to the one where they're a fireman. But we could just get Jesus, Hot Jesus, and then the nuns aren't like that though. They're not going to cheat Jesus. They'll wait till November. They'll wait till October to see if Halloween Jesus is a sexy Skellington, or if he's pouring maple syrup all over his pancakes. I don't know if pancakes are Halloween. Syrup is orange. So, sexy Jesus holding kittens. We'll make the calendar. The nuns will love it. It will sell out. Every month they'll be talking about it. Have you seen this month's new Hot Jesus? They'll be tweeting it. They'll be tweeting it. The nuns that are allowed to tweet, the ones that are given phones, will be tweeting it. The ones that are given an allowance will be able to spend their allowance on the Hot Jesus calendar. It'll be the scourge. It'll be the scourge of, where do they live? In the nunnery? The convent. It'll be the scourge of the convents. Mother Superior will be getting phone calls from the head priest coming in, smacking her. Stop looking at me! We've been through this, Mother Superior. Now, tell me again about these calendars. Where you keep finding them under the beds. Cracked. Someone's carved out a small crack in the wall and filled it with a page of calendar. Very thin crack in a wall. Filled it with a page of calendar that can be drawn out with a tweezer. And lo and behold, it's sexy. He does look good though, doesn't he? Do you mind if I keep this one? Of course, I'm keeping them. Stop looking at me. Sexy Jesus. The priests will be buying it. They need to buy it because they need to check out what they're going to be offended by. They can't not it's research. They'll say it's research. I'm only buying it for research purposes. I don't like sexy Jesus in that way. I need to see the calendar for research purposes. Well, I'm doing a lot of research. Well, I know I'm buying several. I've got that. Okay, I know I've got the the research requires some lubrication. So look, lo and behold, oh, that's naughty. Allow it. Wait, washing Jesus' feet. Yeah, Jesus was into that. You see, it's all written in the Bible now. You see, now after this stream, you'll be able to go and read the Bible. It won't take you long. Thumb through it, like Peter would. Thumb through it, and Peter thumbing his tweeter. You see, that's the callback for that. Peter thumbing his tweeter. Peter thumbing his tweeter. Anyway, look. So sexy Jesus. That's what we've done today. That's the main thing, isn't it? That's the main thing. If the evangelists want, if they want to pay me to sponsor the stream, I'm quite happy to be sponsored by Evangelist Jesus and to change all of my opinions and say really provocative and powerful things about Jesus for money. Quite happy to do that for money if they want to pay me. I'll put ad on the screen when I'm saying it. Oh, Jesus loves you. Oh, Jesus is coming around your house to scare you into paying your debts. Are you tired of hair loss, hair in the sink? Jesus is coming around to pull it out. So pay me now or ask questions later. Have you tried cleaning your carpet with anything less than the holy blood of God? You could get £1 every time I say Jesus. Well, Jesus would sort that out, wouldn't that? That's what the collection box for, isn't it? I should get a collection box. Said that's what they do in the churches, isn't it? And then they pass around the collection plate, and what happens is at the end, the lucky nun, they like nun lottery because they've all got numbers, haven't they? All the nuns have got numbers. So at the end, the lucky nun that wins the nun lottery, she gets to keep the collection and spend it all on sexy Jesus porn. Oops, veered into porn. Thank you for the tippies. Thank you for the tippies. I veered into mentioning pornography there. Didn't mean pornography. Just, not triple X rated, just single X rated Jesus. Just with his shirt off. Not with his, that's not his wonka. You can't, just the hint of what, wonkage. The hint of wonkage. Not his full wonka, just the hint of wonkage. Just a, bump in a fold in the material. Not a full, not going to get me taken off Twitter, Jesus. Just in terms of service, Jesus. Treading right on the edge like Amaranth Jesus. That's the only name I know from that circuit, because she comes up every time. It's controversial, isn't she? Amaranth did this, Amaranth did that. Have you seen Amaranth's bum? If you've seen one bum, you've seen them all. So I only needed to see her to understand what the whole concept was. Anyway, look. So the mental health Monday went a bit well. We got some good work done. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. That's the main thing.
깜찍히다.